In the past few weeks, the US has witnessed an aggressive crackdown on whistleblowers. For many, the Obama administration's tough investigative stance on unauthorized press leaks goes against the president's own election promises to bring back openness and transparency. Moreover, some journalists now accuse the Obama government of actually attacking press freedom.
In an attempt to silence government leakers, the Obama administration is prosecuting a journalist. James Rison, a Pulitzer Prize winning national security correspondent for the New York Times, is being told to give up his sources or go to jail. In his 2006 book, he wrote about the botched U.S. intelligence operations to halt Iran's nuclear program. As he's still under prosecutor's scrutiny, Rison is now advised to avoid interviews on the subject.
This issue has been litigated before. It went through the courts 2 years ago. A judge threw out the request for the subpoena, and now the Justice Department, under a new administration, ironically, seems to be going down the same path.
Eric Lichtblau, together with his colleague James Rison, has made a number of groundbreaking revelations, including the Bush administration's warrantless wiretapping program. He says confidentiality is vital in their work, as people often put their lives at risk to tell what's really going on behind the scene.
If, in effect, we have a system where journalists can only cover things that the government says are not secret, then journalists have lost their independence. They've lost their ability to act as a check on the government.
There would probably be no discussions on Guantanamo abuses or CIA's secret prisons if not for the leaks, but the clampdown is on.
Of course, there is a line between giving up national security secrets and telling the public what they need to know about their government's work. But one or two other cases like Rison's and the free American investigative journalism could face a real drought in sources.
Obama's leak plugging has been welcomed most among advocates of secrecy in government affairs, but even they are surprised.
What came to me as a surprise, the Obama administration came into office pledging maximum openness in government, and while they've taken some steps in that direction, they've also done some unexpected things regarding leaks.
While some journalists have to fight for their sources, others demand transparency at the White House. Like Helen Thomas, who's been in the President Press Corps for over 50 years.
We have never had that in the White House. Too much secrecy in the White House and government. And I think that people have a right to know almost everything.
Meanwhile, Obama, with the new law tucked under his arm, positions the U.S. as the watchdog for the freedom of press in the world.
What this act does is it sends a strong message from the United States government and from the State Department that we are paying attention to how other governments are operating when it comes to the press.
One thing is not clear. Will the State Department pay attention to its own backyard, as American journalists are being forced to break their word? Gainich Chakyan, RT, Washington, D.C.